Good morning. It's your King Ginger. It's the mighty Matt Lind doing business together because that's what we do. Um,
Damn right.
I don't know what we're gonna work on today, Matt. Anything that interests you today?
Uh, I'm down for pretty much whatever, I guess. Just rolling
I'm
along here. I'm
still,
actually
still working on this map.
working on a bit of a secret project here on my end, but
So this is for DNO. Oh man,
that's coming along. What software are you using here? Is this
I'm using Incarnate.
Oh, that's cool.
Incarnate's a slick little map making program. I enjoy it for what I'm using it for. When it comes to, and the reason this all looks weird is because it's a liminal space floating in the in between worlds. So there's nothing out here. There's literally nothing out here. So yeah, I just choose stamps, and which there's a pretty decent variety of. I still got some spots in the map I need to fix. Put some little lighting effects in and stuff. And you can layer things like this is like 3 layers right here. I still need to put another layer of stuff in, but it's starting to take shape.
Yeah, I like that. That's looking good. That's a cool piece of software.
Yeah, it's reasonably inexpensive, um, and it's one of those things where I don't mind paying for it because then anyone in our group has the ability. Mitch Falcon. Just Mitch Falcon touching my deepest gingerness. Yeah, this is it's one of those programs though that I think Beard Knife ran across, and then I was like, oh man, I should be using this. So when I did like Domains of Dread, this was my Domains of Dread map that I had one with cloud cover, so the PCs couldn't see anything they weren't in.
Oh no,
So
okay.
they could only see where they were, and then you could kind of see, but it was just shaded over. And then I had a map where I connected all the domains, and yeah. So I don't know. What do we want to work on? I have currently, I've got still wanting to start on some Hellboy stuff. Still working on. We're working on. You know the thing I'm talking about. Hard times.
Hard times.
Oh, Nightbot, just how do we deactivate Nightbot? How do we just how do I block Nightbot? Nightbot's the worst.
Yeah, he is an awful piece of shit.
It's so frustrating when people put like Super Spike. That's super cool looking. I dug that, and then he was like, "Oh, you're on my naughty list." I'll punch you in your stupid robotic face. Good morning, Nightbot. Or not Night. Someone shoot me now. Super Spike. It's been a rough couple days. Been a rough week. So I got those things. Also, Mitch, let me pull up my spreadsheet. How work-like does that sound? Let me pull up my spreadsheet. Shaggy, Super Spike, I still need some information here on your characters for the school. And same thing, Mitch, I need a character name because you're going to school. I want to include you guys all because of all the wonderful assistance you've always been, and I want to make sure that I get you in a game. So I also need to know what your race is. For Mitch, a cool name. You're all going to be NPCs, and then whether you want to be upper class or lower class. Upper class is like teenage age, lower class is 11 or below, and then class if you want to already have a class. But that's something I want to make sure I get into, because then the PCs are going to decide what classes you're taking, and then who your counselor is, and then I'll be able to have more folks for NPC wise. So what are you feeling, Matt? You feeling Hellboy? We could also work on our challenge thing we talked about, since you were kind of down for that, and that would just be us kind of formulating a little bit of all the information we want to give to every person who's going to be running as kind of these are the rules. We could work on hard times. What's appealing to your imagination this
I
morning?
don't know what's the chat feeling.
Demon school? No, it's a school basically. I'll put that in the notes, Super Spike. It is a school for people who are plain touched, who are going to be potentially in the future dealing with the war of unmaking. Super Spike, you were Clyde Griffin Tamer, if I remember correctly. I really like that name.
Where's my?
I'm going to use, and if you're going with that, I'll go with Druid. Oh man, I can't even see all the chat. Sweet.
Oh.
Okay, good. There it is. We're going to add a column here. Probably should have just copied it, but I'm too lazy.
I am currently searching through fonts.
Oh, you love a good font. Yeah, D&D races would be perfect. Intuitive relationships, wildlife, but does not do overly well with people. Disasters. Okay. Yeah, okay. I mean, there will be demons there, though. I mean, come on, let's be honest, Mitch.
Well, sure.
One of the instructors is actually a vassal of hell. So,
I mean, you gotta.
So not a demon devil, but I mean, come on.
You gotta get work where you can find it.
Yeah, got to get him where he fit in.
Mm.
All right, we can put this on the back burner. Chat, what do you want to work on today? What sounds good to y'all?
I love when I can just find the perfect font without searching for 3 hours.
Oh. Joshua Bigsby.
Joshua Bigsby.
I like the name a lot. It's interesting to have a Warforged name that. Usually they're named like one word, but I like the fact that maybe Joshua Bigsby took his name from like maybe a human he knew. No longer with us, and he said, "Well, I'm changing my name now because Warforged are kind of flexible that way." That would be cool.
I'm
Yeah,
curious. I'm
yeah,
curious which old Mattel toy this was. Oh, it's Big Josh. All right, there we go.
Big Josh.
Do love me some Big Jim.
Big Jim, yeah, former tight end of the Kansas City Chiefs. Big Jim comes equipped with. I haven't watched that movie in so long. Send him to Detroit. No, not Detroit. Anything but Detroit. Super Spike, did you have a particular race you wanted Clyde? Venom. Oh my gosh. All I can see is a Warforged, a small like scout Warforged, wearing like Oshkosh Bagosh overalls and stuff since he's still pretty new. Oh, Furbog is cool. I like Furbog. Um, I just love the idea of this Warforged dressed up, basically sort of almost Chucky-esque. This is in lower. I'm just going to put NA for class. Well, I can put Furbog down then for Clyde Super Spike. I would say my favorite interpretation of Furbog's ever, shockingly enough, was not Matt Mercer. It was actually Justin McElroy in Taz Graduation, who played a Furbog who had, I can't place the accent, but he just did a bunch of, and talk like low voice like this. And he had no name. He just referred to himself as the Furbog, which was phenomenal. And he was obsessed with accounting because he didn't understand it. He thought it was some type of spell because that also took place in his school. That was an interesting one. I didn't care much for I did not care much for the DM in that particular game, but the players were amazing. Really into lumberjacking.
As are we all.
Now I even have a little bit of a Tin Man thrown in there mentally. Shaggy, you're my last holdout here, so just let me know when you feel like you get a handle on it. All right, chat. What are we working on today? Because I'm only going to be able to go till about 11:15. I do have some meat to smoke and a little bit of yard work, a little bit of mulching work to do today, and I'm
Get some family coming over, I think.
yeah. Too. Also, my brain is still a complete clusterfuck. But more than that, I feel a little clearer today than I did yesterday.
Oh, that's good.
But I am sore. My neck, my elbow where I hit, because I landed like high on the ball of my neck, and then my back of my head slapped against the concrete. So like my whole neck is just sore everywhere I move it. And then the next thing to land was my right elbow. So now when I set it on anything, I'm like, oh yeah, that really hurts. So yeah. I'm gonna save this. So what are we thinking, guys, gals, and folks of a non-binary persuasion? Anything kind of jumping out at you? I know Beard was over with Matt yesterday, and we hung out a little bit. They were kind enough to forego the walk since I couldn't really do it, and just hang out and spend some time. Hellboy, as you wish.
All right.
So let's let's grab. Let's grab a campaign planner. I can do better than that. Boom, 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 boom. Steal this. It's not really a campaign planner, though, is it? We're looking at kind of the truce of the game thing. What's up? Let's use our hard times the way we kind of laid that out. We're gonna Is there anything else we needed? No. All right, copy. Man, free software. I love when it's just like, hey, buy our stuff. And I'm like, no, I just want the free stuff. Stop being a butthole. If I wanted your other bullshit, I would pay for it.
Oh, no.
All right. So Hellboy 5e. I know, right? Miles is a cute magoots. Is this what we... trying to think, do we want to work on a case file or do we want to work on kind of the truce of the game thing? Because I just realized those are two totally different things. I apologize. I'm a little mentally disorganized.
That's okay. I have no help for you. I am
Yeah, I was kind of thinking Cassandra was like, we should go to the doctor. And I was like, so what? They can go, oh, you got a concussion? And I go, yeah, I already knew that. So thanks for telling me some shit I already knew. It's like, and then they go, money, peas. I would be like, I don't have any. So thanks for asking. I hate looking at things when my brain is just not able to. It just looks like mess. I'll steal this. Because we can do the nice thing I like about the Hellboy game and the beside it being 5e, which makes it easy for me because it's a simple port. Then it's got some bells and whistles on it, but
yeah.
Essentially it's the same. All right, let's get into it here. So we'll get rid of all this stuff. I'll open the book here shortly so you guys can see it, because I just realized, like, oh, hey, I'm talking about a bunch of stuff and you guys...
Well, they're along for the ride.
Like, I feel like I've had some mediocre episodes of this show, like of me being disorganized. This is definitely like it. I will say this: it hurts to wear the headset today.
Oh, geez. Well, yeah,
It's
that's
like up there, but I have to push. I pushed my headset so far forward. It's like this is uncomfortable. All right, so um, so there's two books because I did the all-in pledge. We have the core rule book, which is it's pretty cool. I mean, duh.
Mm.
But then we have this is I think was a little bit a bigger pledge, but this is I think one of the coolest things about it is this field manual because it gives you some easy tools. Plus the art's great. Some easy tools to build a case file.
Oh, nice.
It's like question one: who's the villain? So let's should we do? We're gonna put that down here. I'm going to move this over here so it's not obstructing view. Who wants to roll me a 10-sided dice?
Ooh. Mitch, Shaggy, Spike. Have we got a 10-sided die handy? Otherwise, I'll step in here. Oh, go for it, Mitch.
A 4. Oh, the occult Reich. That'll be good. It's always fun to punch Nazis.
It's true.
Never a bad time to punch a Nazi right in the face. So we have a quick story table. Super Spy got a 10, so we'll go with that. Their purpose. Yeah, it's fair. It's a fair. I believe it says that in the intro to this book, where it basically says like it's never a bad time to punch Nazis. So mass non-traditional forces for a serious military endeavor. Yeah. Question 3: how do they plan to succeed? We got to figure that out. So we'll come back to that. There's no chart for that. What are their assets?
Let's see.
Who's got that sweet, sweet 10-sided roll for me?
Well, okay, so we had Mitch roll a 4 and Super Spike roll a 10 on his roll.
Mm-hmm.
So did you use the 10? Did you use Super Spike's roll?
I did. That's where we got the non-traditional.
All right, here we go then.
First.
Let me throw one of my die. That wasn't barely rolled. There we go. All right, small cabal of loyal scientists and magicians.
Ooh. All right. Mitch got a 1. We'll use that for our quick problems table. They're leaving a track a competent investigator can follow. Is there anything else for? Nope. Okay. So we've got our basic, our backbone. So let's bring our worksheet back over. Maybe. Let's go view and make it. Let's make big. Want to make it big. Can I just have a increase the size of the view guy? Because you guys can't see that. Oh, there we go. Maybe that's. Matt, is there a better way? Would I just have to change the screen size? I guess probably.
You need to see. What do you want to show them? Just so
I want to increase the size of this, but it doesn't work in this free program I currently have. I don't have.
Go down in the lower right.
Oh, there it is. Never mind. I'm just not very bright.
No, that's fine. It's every software likes to do it differently.
It's being blocked by a action figure head right now. Like that, I still got to. I'm working on a figure, and I'm just like, it's not doing what it's not being what I want it to be, which makes me unhappy. Okay.
Understand.
So these are kind of our questions. We've got basic answers, but we need to fill in details. So we know it's the Occult Reich. So I would love if we could come up with a cool name for our creepy occult Nazis. Because I think the Thule Society was a thing.
Yep.
What was they? Were they used in? They were a real thing.
Yeah.
And I only know them because of comic books. So I hate Illinois Nazis. That's beautiful, Shaggy. Thank you for making me laugh really hard on that. That's great. They were a real thing, and they were post World War I believe.
Yeah,
I don't know if
they founded in. Well, actually, no, they've been around. They were around before World War One.
Were they?
Yeah.
Were they a part of Hellboy?
I think they were.
Okay. Well, I don't want to use something that.
Yeah, they are. They are part of Hellboy.
Boo. Okay, so we got to think of let's go to the wonderful world of Wikipedia and look at the occult roots of Nazism.
Oh boy. I mean, that's kind of where I am.
Yeah, it's gonna put us on a list, I'm sure, unfortunately.
This also
there's a book that jumps out called Black Sun. Like just reading through quick. I know it's a Star Wars thing as well. I'm kind of feeling that may be a good place for us to start. The Odessa Syndicate. That sounds very Hellboy as well. I know there's a Russian group in Hellboy that's led by like a little girl.
All right, so there's the Ann Herb. I don't know how it's pronounced exactly, and that was another sort of deal. It was like a think tank, but I think that showed up in Hellboy as well. But since we're dealing with like modern groups, they had they were forming a they had plans for 3 large German colonies in Eastern occupied territories, and one of them was going to be called Gotengau, which translates to Goth District.
Interesting.
So you could have some goth Nazi.
I laugh because the Goths would be like, no, we don't want that. Get the fuck out, you losers. And I'd be like, hell yeah, Goths. Hell yeah.
Yes, Goths and punks. Not fans in general.
So another thing like that I'm always interested in is that I want to do, of course, 3-part games because I'm a weirdo when it comes to doing like little trilogy games that tie up. Is finding actual places. So there is a place called Nazinsky that was used by Stalin that became a cannibal island. It was an island where he just threw political prisoners, and they turned to cannibalism. So what if our Nazis are trying to unleash some type of spectral army of like cannibals from this Nazinsky island?
All right. Yeah.
What if it wasn't even ghosts? What if it was actual ghouls?
Well, there's okay. Now I'm just going down this rabbit hole of weird Nazi mystic assholes. Where? All right. So there was a guy who. Okay, so he was not a Nazi. Apparently, at least I'm not 100% that he was. Let's see here. Yeah, he was not. He was actually attacked by them in Poland. But he developed a pseudoscientific historical theory positing that all human culture was derived from post-deluge Easter Island and that humankind was locked in an eternal struggle with the sons of Yeti, the offspring of Yeti and humans.
Oh my
That
gosh.
is a hell of a hook.
Sons of Yeti is kind of so Nazi. What was the guy's name?
Stanislav Zukolski.
He was a Nazi, right?
He was not a Nazi.
He was not a Nazi.
He was not a Nazi.
But theory that
maybe they got into his
kind is derived from Easter Island.
Yeah, basically after the fall of man, it sounds like. Let's see here, post deluge. So I think that's so what
post the flood.
Noah. Yeah, post flood. All human culture was derived from post deluge Easter Island, and that humankind was locked in an eternal struggle with the sons of Yeti, the offspring of Yeti and humans.
Is locked in an eternal struggle
with the sons of Yeti.
I love that idea as well. Like, that's going to happen regardless if it happens this time or not. Now I just want a group called the Sons of Yeti who have like moved their brains into like giant apes.
Yeah.
It does, Mitch. It sounds very much like that. And that makes me stupidly happy. Everybody's getting snow coned. Oh, gosh. All right. So we've got 2 really good ideas so far, which is terrifying. Oh, no, I didn't want to save it that way. No, not like this. Not like this. I so don't want to do anything to David come back to bed. Too late. I already rubbed and wrapped those ribs. Already got chicken marinating.
Chicken. Once that smoke hits you, you'll be all about it.
One can hope. One can hope. This fall on FX, Sons of Yeti on USA, where characters come to live, or whatever it used to be, where characters live, or so I don't remember. All right. Any other sweet, weird, beautiful ideas? So at one point, I was thinking about doing something with skinwalkers.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Kind of exactly, exactly. Yes.
Well, there are neo-Nazi writers that believe that not the Aryans came from space.
That
From
kind of
Aldebaran, also known as Alderaan.
that kind of reminds me of man, I wish I could remember. Oh, I don't see Yanaglachi anywhere. I see Yinaladushi.
I mean that we're relying on
Yeah, but I want to use Yanaglachi.
Joe Estevez.
I just
pronouncing
need
it
to
properly.
know how to spell it.
Ah. Let's see.
Because also there was a really great episode of Masters of Horror about the Deer Woman, which I know falls into that same kind of. I think unfortunately it was the one that John Landis did, but. So again, I know I talk about them constantly, but the McElroys did a one shot at a live show where Brennan Lee Mulligan was the DM, and they played a game they all made up together called the Dadlands, where they all played dads from different post-apocalyptic dad tribes, and Griffin played a grill dad. So yeah, when the sacred smoke hit him, he was able to invoke the spirits of burnt meat, which was frighteningly hilarious.
Yeah, they definitely. I mean, let's see here. Yeah, it was basically just Joe Estevez, not, or maybe pronouncing it right, but it doesn't. It's not spelled like it sound.
All right, give me them letters, slow but sure.
I'll just put it in the private chat here.
Okay, that works too.
Gotta
if the FBI came in
pronouncing it properly.
If the FBI came in and saw my search stuff right now, it would be Skinwalker, Navo Skinwalkers, horror channel I made on YouTube, Occultism and Nazis, and the Odessa Syndicate. They'd be like, "What is wrong with this motherfucker?"
And then you'd just be like, "I'm working on a Hellboy RPG," and they'd be like, "Oh, yeah. All right, that makes sense." Yeah, we hauled in that Mignola guy like 6 times. We get it now.
Yeah, Grill Dad was awesome. The other dads in the group was their dad, their actual father, Clint McElroy, played a sports dad. So he constantly had a whistle, a real life whistle at this live show. They kept taking it away from him, and they kept pulling out another whistle. Travis McElroy was a car dad. And then, which I believe he had his name was a variation on Guy Fieri, which, and then Justin McElroy was Disney dad because he's obsessed with Disney in real life. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Pretty much, Shaggy. It's pretty much. The FBI hands you material. Oh, you're going to Hellboy game? Oh, here. It's from our black case files. So we were talking about Nazis from space. Have you ever seen the
Wait, sorry.
There was like a weird like movie a couple years ago about Udo Kier. It was like the Nazis were on the dark side of the moon, and they made a sequel where the Nazis were in the center of the earth. They were like bad on purpose movies.
Okay. No, I'm sorry that I just got distracted, but apparently, um, werewolves in Germany are beer wolves.
They're Vilvuls.
Beer wolf is what Wikipedia calls it, or
Wow. Iron
bar.
Skies. Thank you, Mitch.
Yes, Iron Skies. Yeah, it was just the idea of beer wolves is.
Hey, in college, I was probably a beer wolf. I mean, I was my track team. My last year I did sports in college. I was my track team's um, Edward 40 Hands champion. When I used to drink, I would drink. I could believe it or not, Matthew. I could pack it away.
I do believe you.
To show my age, Mickey's used to put out jugs, not just 40 ounce, but like 60-ounce jugs.
Oh Jesus!
And I would put jugs down pretty quickly. Also, if there was a beer bong involved, we made beer bongs at college that had little valves, shut-offs valves. You know, American post-secondary education system at work. Yana Glanche. That was exactly what I found. I didn't know it was okay. That's cool. That
I think. I mean, I don't know if he pronounced it right or not, but that's yeah. I mean, nobody. I've seen people spell it Yanaglachi, like it sounds. But I think that's um, the traditional.
another thing I like to do when I start to try to think of Hellboy stuff. Yeah, jugs are never a good choice. That could be a T-shirt. Jugs are never a good choice. Well, I say that out loud. Maybe they are. I don't know. Depends on how you refer to certain things. Is I'll look for strange years in history. So where I can find like the first thing that pops up is like 7 weirdly bizarre moments in history you may think are made up.
All right, this whole thing of the field spirits is
The field spirits.
Yeah, let me just. I mean, because one of them literally translates as corn dog.
Corn dog. Corn. Matt, is your new nickname gonna be Corn Dog?
I don't know.
I think it is now. we're gonna have to start calling Matt Corn Dog as his special nickname. I'm kind of down. Corn Dog is an awesome nickname.
I don't know. I mean, there's also Hay Poodle, Husk Dog, Barn Dog, Threshing Dog, Wheat Barker, and Corn Pug.
Oh, Shaggy, too soon. Too soon.
Well, holy shit! I'm surprised. I mean, I'm not caught up on
It was
stuff, but the Kittlehund, which is a dog, like a field spirit in the shape of a dog that looks for children to tickle them to death.
Oh God, that's amazing. Put that in the chat, in our private chat. I want to do something.
I put the private chat has the link to all the Feldgeister. Pig corn demons, like wow. All right, Germany going hard.
I see. That's one thing I played in a D&D game for a while before we moved to the cities, in which it was like all based on folklore. And a friend of ours was like super big into folklore, and it was one of the coolest games because it took a lot of weird stuff like that has a history in folklore, and then just melded it in, and it made it so much fun because it was, you could go look some of that up.
I mean, yeah,
I don't know. I kind of want to stay away from Krampus for now. I think we should touch upon Krampus in some game. I know I used him in DNO not too long ago, but currently my thoughts on Krampus are that it's someone who fights Brock Sampson.
Yeah, there's like anthropomorphic Feldgeister, like human ones. The Rye Aunt.
Or the fact the Polish army enlisted bears as soldiers in World War II.
The Rogan Moom is known for stealing human children who are looking for cornflowers. Also known to replace children with changelings. She forces children to suck at her deadly bosom and may strike the children with her bosom. The Rogan Moom also chases children at speed simultaneous to a running horse, blows the eyelight of children out, and pounds children in her iron butter churn. She is said to be the mother of the Rogan wolf, the Rye wolves, and can herself also be in the form of a wolf. Sometimes the Rogan Moom is also accompanied by little dogs who lead children into her iron hug.
Ooh, iron hug is just terrifying sounding.
Yeah, she's just going around beating kids with her giant bosom and chasing after them at horse speed. Like, that's terrifying.
So I just found this thing that I'm definitely going to put on our list about a Polish soldier in World War II found a bear whose mother had been killed somehow, and basically had him raised with his division. He slept in bunks. He was given the title of private.
Nice.
He was placed in the Edinburgh Zoo after the war. His name was Wojtek. But now I'm thinking, like, what if there was a whole secret division of bears, intelligent bears that the Polish had during World War II?
Or
and now they've been hiding, and now they come back. Yeah,
like a We3
yes.
style thing. And after the war was over, they all kind of went their separate ways. But now something's called them out, and they have to like get the gang back together.
Exactly. Or, I mean, I would also be a cool idea for an actual BPRD member.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Very absolutely.
An entire town in Nevada basically invented the concept of the Wild West by staging gunfights, bank robberies, and other Western cliches from the 1800 dime novels. Palisade, Nevada, that's basically where it came from. And everyone was in on it, even the U.S. cavalry and local Native American tribes. That's wild. Mad Jack Churchill, a British army officer during World War II, was famous for going into battle with a longbow, a broadsword, and bagpipes. I'm going to write some of this down as character.
Yeah,
that is amazing. Like if you were like the descendant of this dude. In 1944, he was captured in Yugoslavia after the rest of his command was injured and killed by mortar fire. As the last man standing, Churchill played "Will You Know Come Back Again" on his bagpipes before being knocked unconscious by a grenade. That is amazing. That like makes me think a little bit of does anyone remember the old Eternal Warrior comic?
I'm certainly aware of it.
Where basically the main character just couldn't die. He'd been
Yeah.
around forever, and he just fought in all these wars, and it was also like Armstrong and Archer also was tied to that because one of them was like a sibling to the Eternal Warrior. Was he the last man to get confirmed kill with a longbow in a war? That's mwah! It also has like a very Gilgamesh from Marvel Comics feel to it as well. At one point, the makers of Pepsi had the 6th largest military in the world. That is wild. I love stuff like that. I just absolutely adore it. All right, sorry, I got distracted. Anti-tank dogs are really cool as well.
Oh yeah,
that's an interesting one. Did you know? I can't remember which military it was. Tried to militarize otters.
I mean, I know they were doing some stuff with dogs and dolphins in the U.S. that never quite panned out.
I think it was the CIA that was trying to mess with otters.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
There was oh gosh, I had another one that I had planned on using for a while. Have you ever heard of Anatoly Bergorsky?
No.
So he was a Russian physicist, and he was hit in the head by a particle accelerator. So, and he lived. I think he's still alive. So he walked into into the room, and it was supposed to be off, and someone turned it on. So they could show where this accelerator literally shot a particle through his brain.
Jesus.
And he lived, which is incredible. But I kind of thought, like, what if? So you also know that, like, I shouldn't assume that. So Russia had these science towns.
Yeah.
So my thought was like, we'll just make a number up because let's say that the Bergorsky that they like presented to the world. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of my thought, Super Spike. And Shaggy as well. Is like they basically put him in an abandoned science town. Because the real Bergowski, they had to. But the one who everyone sees now who's suing the Russian government and everything, that's a fake. because the real one, they've literally had to trap, like in the what's Warren Ellis's Planetary, where they find like that version of the Hulk's body in the bottom of a missile silo.
yeah.
But Bergowski is still alive in like 94, I'll say. But now, like, it's causing all kinds of strange things to happen around that science village. So, like, the adventure would be, again, those three parts of, like, the Russian occult group, I can't remember the name of them in Hellboy, basically contacts the BPRD and asks for help. Doesn't tell them what's going on. They tell them it's supernatural, but they get there and it's not. I can't. There's a couple of these, like I said, I've been kind of ruminating on for a while. And that was one is because I'd watched a video on that and I was like, how the hell did this guy live? Because they were talking about statistically it was like 0.000000000, 1% chance that he lived through something like that. Like, my thought was like, he's still down there and like reality around him is like unraveling into like different time spans and things like that because he's dreaming and asleep. So why the Russian government feigns that it's some type like a Fey incursion, it's actually, Bergorsky in this Zorn-like cellar dreaming under the table and dreaming. Because it also puts you in a thing at the end is, yeah, we make Cthulhu. It also puts you in this idea of like, do you kill him in a confrontation? Because it's not his fault. He just happens to be a dude who, had this horrible event happen to him. Okay. Other ideas. Let's see if we can find any. I used to look for like years in America that had like weird events and see if I could tie them together. Oh, President Zachary Taylor died from a cherry overdose. That's awesome.
Wow. Okay.
Tug of war used to be an Olympic sport. I love that. As a chonky boy, I'm a holy crap. Sorry. Vladimir Pravik was one of the first firefighters to reach the Chernobyl nuclear power plant on the 26th in 1986, April 26th. The radiation was so strong that it changed his eye color from brown to blue.
Jeez.
He lived for 15 years later after suffering severe radiation poisoning. Also, you could say that Bergowski was actually underneath Chernobyl.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Because that would move you up from the 70s into the 80s, timeline-wise. Also, it'd feel weird, too, because it'd feel like they were hiding him for that long. Churchill typically smoked 8 to 10 cigars a day, sometimes as much as 15. During the American Prohibition, he would get a doctor's note saying he needed to drink indefinite amounts of alcohol when he would come to visit the States. Winston Churchill. Uh,
All right, so I
oh,
the,
damn.
the Ripley's Believe It or
Mitch,
Not.
that is a fascinating idea.
I like
Oh,
this for a.
I thought you were saying that his brain got trapped inside of a cinder block. And I was
I
like,
mean, that works too. I like
that
that.
works.
Great.
That's crazy.
I'm looking through Ripley's Believe It or Not cartoons, and I'm sure the artist did this deliberately, but there was a drawing of the big Tex, like mascot thing from the Texas State Fair, and it burned down in 2012.
Okay.
But the drawing made it look like the fucking Wicker Man, and now my head is like,
The big Tex Wicker Man.
well, no. What if there's some kind of like cult or something going around using all of these roadside attraction, like,
Have you ever heard of the ARG about the monuments?
no,
So there's a ARG conspiracy thing that's done, most of those things are done in jest.
yeah,
So, but it's a conspiracy that all the monuments are actually living beings.
oh. I mean, it could just be more like a Wicker Man style thing too, where you've got some cult that's going around and using all of these things and burning them with Nick Cage inside for whatever their goals are all around the world.
I love that big Tex Wicker Man idea, though.
Because there's giant animals and mascots and shit all over the world.
Oof. All I can think about when it comes to that is the idea that like a group of oilmen like have this, like they're worshiping this thing under the ground and they need to burn people inside of this Wicker Man. That's creepy. So there's also this wonderful ARG um about it's like they called the Flesh Pit, and it's about like that we these oil folks in Texas drilled into the ground and they hit something, and what it is it's a giant, like basically like massive kaiju underneath the ground in Texas, and we built a theme park around it. And then at one point though, the thing woke up for a little bit and killed all the people inside of it. I mean, like not on purpose, just it shuddered and its immune system went off. It's got
Right.
parasites that escape. There's videos about that Mystery Flesh Park that are terrifying. They're so cool. Yeah, God, that's a really good one. Man, we're getting some seriously cool ideas. I know that Mignola used an analogy for Silver John, and I'd still like to see that kind of. I because I love the Silver John stories.
Mm.
I don't know how familiar you are with those.
I've got a vague sense of awareness, but I don't. I mean, I may know more than I think I do, but it's not
Yeah.
like tripping any triggers.
Yeah. So a writer named Manly Wade Wellman, his
Sure.
actual first name was Manly. He wrote these stories about Silver John, who is this like Appalachian former military man who kind of goes through he's from Appalachia. He's got a guitar with silver strings, and he
Oh
basically
yeah.
he
I do know
goes around and he deals with like spirits and stuff. The stories are wonderful. I mean, it's just very, very cool. Um, but I know he used an analogy for Silver John. This is one of my favorite things to do, folks. So just sitting around and like looking at weird stuff and then bouncing ideas. Holy crap. This the peculiar story of Wilmer McLean was the beginning. His parlor was the beginning and the end of the Civil War.
Oh.
The Confederate troops organized in his parlor at the beginning, and then they signed the accord in his parlor to end it, which is just wild.
Yeah,
it wasn't planned; it just happened out that way.
Or was it?
Nah. The Nazi werewolves who terrorized Allied soldiers at the end of World War II. It's an article from the Smithsonian. I am like, what is going on? Oh, they were just guerrilla fighters.
Well,
who referred to themselves as that.
I mean, that just that's a DC comic editor thing from the '60s. Yep, put a this on the cover, and then we'll work backwards from there.
Well, it also talks about how the Nazis co-opted occult and mythological things.
I guess Hellboy is kind of a modern update of it, but man, I always love the idea of the Creature Commandos at DC.
I love Creature Commandos. I agree. I liked when Marvel did the more modern monster take of the Howling Commandos as well.
Oh yeah, super fun.
Yeah, I love weird World War II stuff. iRobot and all that. No, I wasn't iRobot. It was
GI Robot.
GI Robot. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Greg Rucka brought him back in Checkmate in the modern era.
Yep.
A robot. The Betty Grable poster.
Frankenstein is one of my favorite DC characters.
Oh yeah, I mean that was just Grant saying I'm going to make a DC Hellboy, and that's more than fine with me.
I did not realize, I think I remember this before, but I'd forgotten it, that Foo Fighters were the name for pilots. The pilots gave UFOs during World War II.
Yeah.
What about the return of what was it? Flight 19, which was it was a flight of American planes that disappeared over the Bermuda Triangle in the Second World War.
Yeah, that's a big one, that training flight that disappeared.
That's the thing. I look at this list, Matt, and I just go, I would run or play in any of these games because all of them have such super strong Hellboy vibes.
Yeah.
Even Sons of Yeti, you could tie to current Hellboy mythology with the
Oh, easily.
with I can't remember the name of the story now, where they basically reignite Liz. Do you remember what I'm talking about? Or no, that's when she. No, it's like I think it was called Hollow World.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there was a who knows if it was fictional or not, but um, a German weapon that was being worked on called the Glock, German for the bell. And when activated, it was supposed to create a zone of effect around itself that would cause blood to coagulate and plants to decompose.
Ooh.
Now, who knows whether it,
But that's the whole thing about Hellboy is it doesn't have to be real
right.
because it can be real in that world.
Also, there was that really fascinating thing that actually happened where they basically created that the Operation Mincemeat thing where they created that fake soldier using a dead body to spread misinformation, and basically just dropped it into the channel and expecting the Germans would find it and put all this information on him.
Who did that? Was that the British?
Yeah, but you could totally do something occult with that. Like, what if that body was resurrected, and
Or what if he was basically Frankenstein?
yeah,
They dropped him in there, and then we don't know what happened to him after that. Yeah, I love that idea because
or if he was kind of like a I don't know, not a tulpa, I guess, but like because the like which who is he actually? The identity that um the person he actually was, or the identity they created for him to spread this disinformation. Like, does he have both of these? Because the belief had to be so strong in this fake identity, he's like dealing with both of them. I don't know.
I know that's I like this idea that he's.
It feels like again, like kind of a Morrison thing where it's like, okay, we need to create this being of fiction that's so real that people are going to believe it, and then tie it to this actual body. No,
Yeah, what if it's like a set of living fictionalized propaganda?
yeah, and then
He was dropped on the coast of Portugal, Mitch.
that might be right. Yeah, I couldn't remember where they had to drop him somewhere where they know he'd get found, but also where you could expect a British spy to be.
Because what if it's still there and now it's like being used to create like commercials. So like German allies then. Well, I like that. That's really, it's got like some very potentially eerie shit happening.
Also, there was apparently World War II Russian psychic who supposedly could stop an animal's heartbeat using psychokinesis.
What?
Yeah. Just put her info in the chat here.
It might have been, Mitch. I think you might be on to that. Resume is Russian for mind. Because you could do a really cool the Resume project is still going on, but yet now it's more like a Village of the Damned type situation. Helge Meyer and the Ghost Camaro. That sounds like a comic book that needs to happen.
And he's very much alive, but that whole story is fucking nuts. And,
God, that's wild.
And it's like, okay, well, take that, and then now he's an actual ghost. Like,
it almost has like a little bit of Buckaroo Banzai to it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the chat is reminding you. Do you need to start your meets?
I'll take 11 more minutes, and then we'll
all right. Well, yeah, we'll go to 11:30, and then we'll set you guys free.
Yeah. Sorry, I got so.
You got into it. That's good.
This is I enjoy when we are all like throwing those ideas around, and I think that is like the men who stared at goats.
Yeah, I think that was kind of when we heard about what the Russians were doing. We're like, oh, let's try and do that too.
I love MK Ultra. Actually, I wanted to use MK Ultra in a superhero context. Rather than like a group of superheroes who think they're mutants but find out they're just MK Ultra.
I mean, that's basically the ultimate universe origin for mutants.
Yeah, I kind of have it written out to be part of the other part of our Capers bad guy thing, and because I think I had titled it like MK Marvel, and instead of the CIA, it was Shield. So yeah, I kind of already got that in another game.
There was some book I was reading recently, and they had kind of fictionalized it to a degree, but they were talking about this guy who had kind of like basically bought himself control of a micronation in Europe, and due to the stuff that like dictated its boundaries, or weird stuff dating back hundreds of years, or to like feudal times or whatever, like chunks of it existed inside another nation, so you could like walk across the room and be in a different country. But so there was like certain buildings that were in this country, but like the streets were part of like a larger nation and all. It was a weird setup, and so like within those buildings, he could do whatever he wanted because it was his country.
That's
But
kind of like would fall into that Operation Mincemeat as well, where it's like, again, like that idea of propaganda, mind control through propaganda, by
that was or just
meme culture almost.
force of belief.
Yeah.
Because that's one of my favorite stories about World War II. Is the whole idea that carrots help with your eyesight.
Yeah.
Is propaganda.
Yep.
Because we didn't want the Germans to know we had. So that like became not a fact, but an accepted fact. So does the placebo effect kick in? Like at some point, or are we willing? Can you will carrots to actually improve your eyesight because you don't want people to know that you have radar? Oh yeah.
That could be very interesting. Has anyone ever read the Laundry books?
No.
I'm trying to remember who wrote them. Charles Strauss. Charles Strauss, also the person who came up with, if I remember correctly, with the Githyanki for D&D when he was like barely out of his teenage years. So it's a series of books about a main character who's a kind of a schlubby hacker guy and accidentally figures out how to use technology to summon a like Lovecraftian monster. But before he can do it, the British government busts in and they've voluntold him into this thing called the Laundry. And the Laundry are basically a part of the MI group of British intelligence that deals with like incursions. And he is brought in because he has figured out, and other people have too, how to use technology basically instead of like summoning circles and things like that. And it's basically like this guy as James Bond, except for he's can't fight. He's a big dork. And they're really good, but they get very intensely dark.
Well, the Queen and Country comics that Greg Rucka did, which are based on or heavily inspired by a British TV series called The Sandbaggers, is basically like, it's like, okay, you're not allowed to have guns when you're in the country because we don't fucking trust you.
Yeah. These guys are using like high tech, like occult palm pilots and things like that. But there's an actual book, I can't remember what it's called, where they're literally this billionaire, like this proto Elon Musk, is basically using a machine tapped into like Azeroth to rewrite pop culture and weaponize it.
Oh, well, and the mincemeat stuff was also reminded me. It percolated up in my memory. The Hexus, the Living Corporation from Marvel Boy.
Yeah. No, I those are solid.
So this is an actual group that kind of was responsible for the beginning of World War One, the Order of the Black Hand.
I don't think I know much about them. Can you give me a quick rundown?
Yeah, let me reopen this page here. It's a little. I mean, it doesn't. It seemed like they just had a fancy name. But yeah, they were just a secret Serbian nationalist military group.
Black-handed knights.
No.
Oh no, I'm sorry. That's a Star Wars thing.
No.
The Black-handed Knights were a covert military order of the Palpatinian Church that was established alongside the Emperor's cult in 4 ABY, comprised of a number of elite Force-sensitive warrior monks. I was like, oh, what is this? But no, that wasn't it. Oh yeah, they were part of the group that organized the assassination.
Yeah. Yeah, so they plotted the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand, and there was a unification thing. So yeah, they kind of.
So you could almost look at them as like maybe the origins of like a oh gosh darn it, what was that called in Venture Brothers? The thing that
Oh yeah,
that with the orb,
yeah,
where it had like Sandow and Aleister Crowley and all those guys were in that thing where like a war on a blimp.
yeah. I know they were around before that, but let's see.
No, but I'm kind of thinking like that being like the Hellboy version of it, maybe.
Yeah, the Guild of Calamitous Intent.
Were they really the original guild?
The original guild, yes, the guild is what they were. And then turned into the Guild of Calamitous Intent.
Yeah.
Yes.
Phantomos, all those dudes were in that.
Yep.
Ha, I like that. Almost like the evil Illuminati in Marvel. But not even evil, just
yeah. Well, that's Marvel does have the.
I can't remember what the evil Illuminati.
What the hell were they?
I know what you're talking about. I just can't remember the name of them.
Yeah, it was
like Loki and Doom and Norman.
Well, there was that, but there was also Shield, the original or retcon version of Shield.
Oh yeah.
Vinci and
the Hickman.
Yeah.
The Buddy Holly and the Big Bopper. I forgot all about that part. I restarted Venture Brothers. I need to get back on watching that.
Yeah, I've got to go back to it as well.
It's so good
for the finale.
Man, I think we've got a good starting point.
You got a lot of terms that can go full blown.
You have access to the game, right?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. So I'm going to make a Hellboy file then on Dropbox. Oh, I'll just put this in our Hellboy file on Dropbox.
Okay.
So if you have things that pop up in your head you're interested in, you can add. If I can find it, uh-oh. Oh, there it is. I was like, where is that? And you can feel free to fiddle with it. But yeah, I think good. I think Mooey good. That was a wild
Shaggy.
whirlwind of ideas. Al Capone. Oh, that's going in there.
And
Do you want me to get rid of Flint then? Or hold on. Shaggy, was yours Flint or was that Super Spike? No. I don't know. Either way, I'm putting your boy in there.
what size t-shirt do you wear, King?
Oh, like 5X.
All right. Make myself a note here. I got some plans.
Well, now I got to get on Dave or someone to do some art so we can get a corn dog shirt. Corn dog.
Oh boy.
I'm putting that in here, guys. So
I mean, it could be really like if I'm imagining like a dog field spirit made out of like corn stalks and
oh, that's terrifying.
yeah, I mean that could be really cool.
That's like Children of the Corn.
Yeah, just all sinewy, corn stalks instead of muscle, and yeah.
It's kind of like there's these things in D&D called blights, and they come in various sizes, and they're just like undead plant matter. And that kind of reminds me of that because that's terrifying. That's one of the more terrifying things to me. Sexy pigs. Also, what is that story that Joe Hill and Stephen King did together, In the Tall Grass or something like that? Netflix did a movie version of it that was actually pretty good. But it's the whole idea like this field is basically alive and it tricks people into coming into it and then drives them mad. That would also work very well with that idea, which would be like a crazy missing persons thing, which that's fascinating when you start to think about it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I want to say thank you to everybody for getting my head clear by way of imaginative groupthink. And I hope you have a good Sunday. And Matt and I will see you on Tuesday this week.
Yeah.
For the Big Baby Teases presents whatever we're doing. So yeah, and for you guys who watch all the time and support us all the time, Mitch, Shaggy, Super Spike, first of all, thank you. But also we did a bunch of planning yesterday. We got a bunch of other stuff planned long term for games and things that are going to pop up on the channel. So I'm excited to be able to keep doing what we're doing and keep hopefully keeping you guys as involved as you want to be. So thank you. Have a good Sunday. And we'll see you beautiful, beautiful children of the atom on Tuesday.
Hell yeah.
Bye.